So this is just a caveat, so that way you guys, I talked about this a lot in the intro course. I shouldn't say a lot, but I talked about it enough in the intro course that when I get somebody who's brand new at jiu-jitsu, especially the kids, I give them 3 basic rules, and I make the kids go over this in every single class. Rule number 1 of fighting, we never show our back to our opponent, right? And when I say never, just take that as a rule all the way up until you're one of the most advanced grapplers, okay? Just, you think you're going to be creative, like showing your back in some sort of move, then all of a sudden you go against somebody who knows what they're doing, and bam, it doesn't work. So if I show my back to my opponent, I don't have eyes in the back of my head. I can't see what she's doing. And we're a lot nicer in jiu-jitsu and in MMA, but if this was a street fight, she could be hitting the back of my head. She could be choking me, right? She can be gouging my eyes out. I have no idea. And all my tools to defend myself or attack Jade are faced away from her, including my sensory input, right? Like, I can't see what she's doing. I can't grab her. It's a horrible position. So I don't show my back to my opponent. She's doing the right thing right now where she's climbing on top of me and she's securing my chest. She's securing my hips. So now she's in control of my hips and she's separating my upper body and my lower body. So I can't make it work together. It's no good. No es bueno, right? So, thank you, Jay. Mm-hmm. So you don't show your back to your opponent. 2 is you never let your opponent up, which means if you get your opponent to the ground, which is crucial, right? If you decide to be a jiu-jitsu or submission grappler as a martial artist, you get them to the ground to where that's your realm, right? And then you never let them back up, because anybody can be dangerous. Anybody can throw a Hail Mary or a haymaker right from their feet, and you just have no idea which one's going to connect. And of course, if you have some striking, you know how to block and keep yourself safe, but it's not a great position to be in if you know how to grapple. So if you have the option to grapple, get them to the ground and you never let them back up. And you get them to a dominant position, and we'll talk about that here in a second. So that's rule number 1, don't show your back. Rule number 2 is we never let our opponent up. Rule number 3, which is like the one where, okay, what do I do? What is jiu-jitsu about? I would say rule number 3 is we never stop fighting until we're in a safe position. That's what I tell the kids. Maybe the adults, it's we never stop moving forward until we're in a dominant position. Okay? And my 2 dominant positions that if you're brand new to go for are mount, which we've already gone over in the intro course and in here a little bit, and backpack or back, right? Back control, back mount, whatever you want to call it, where Coach Jade just had me, where she is controlling my hips. She's glued her chest to my back, and she's got a choking arm and a control arm. If you're a little bit confused on that, go check out the intro course where we cover that, right? I don't want to get too buried in it. So when we're in a closed guard is a great position in order to advance. It's like a base, right? You build a base where a base of operations, right? So if you're going to be stuck on your back, one of the best places you can be is a closed guard in order, as we just saw, 3 different sweeps that get you to mount where you want to be. Does that make sense? So if you're mounted, you want to find a way out of mount, get to a base of operations where you can start being offensive again, which is going to be like a closed guard. And now we have a few different movements that's going to get us to that mounted position where we're going to be the safest. The likelihood, and I don't want to get too far into it, but when you're a mount, you cut their body in half and you're isolating their body. When you get to their back, you've isolated their body. All their tools to fight are faced away from you. And so if you get to one of those 2 positions, then you're going to not only be offensive, but the likelihood of them being offensive goes way down. So you're increasing your chance of survivability and decreasing their options and chances of survivability, which is what we're doing right now. I'm trying to get myself to mount or back. And that's the foundation of this. When we do side control, to me, that's just a variation of a mounted position. But even now, I'm always trying to get from my side control, like we talked about in introductory video, from knee on belly to mount, right? So anyway, now you see we went from a closed guard, hip pump sweep to mount. We did a closed guard, flower sweep to mount when she lifts her butt. And we did a closed guard when she stands up, dummy sweep right to mount, right? So those are the 3 main sweeps that we like to do from mount.